to this special celebratory documentary to honor the 2020 Pritzker Architecture Prize laureates, Yvonne Farrell and Shelley McNamara. As you probably know, the Pritzker Prize was founded in 1979 through the vision and commitment to architecture of Jay and Cindy Pritzker of Chicago, Illinois. As evidenced by built work, they wanted to honor outstanding architects who, with their talent, creativity, and generosity, have contributed to the art of architecture and have demonstrated service to humanity. This international prize has been awarded to 48 architects from around the world, from Chile to China, from the United States to Japan, from Australia to Norway. If we were to add up all the schools where the laureates have studied, it would be in the hundreds. And if we were to count the number of places they have shared their knowledge through lectures and exhibitions, these places would number in the thousands. However, we must remember that the prize is not based on nationality, architectural style, or geopolitics. It is based on talent and commitment to the built environment. This year's winners, Yvonne Farrell and Shelley McNamara, who have worked together for more than 30 years, reflect once again the highest standards of the prize. The independent jury that possesses a deep sense of purpose and understanding of the contemporary context and the challenges facing architects selects the laureate or laureates each year. This year, the jury cited many aspects of the work of Farrell and McNamara, realized through their firm Grafton Architects in Dublin, Ireland. The jury said, their approach to architecture is always honest, revealing an understanding of the processes of design and construction, from large-scale structures to the smallest detail. They have consistently and unhesitatingly pursued the highest quality of architecture for the specific location in which it was to be built, the functions it would house, and especially for the people who would inhabit and use their buildings and spaces. The final paragraph of the jury citation sums up the strength and depth of the work of the 2020 laureates. I quote the words of the jury: "For their integrity in their approach to architecture, both their buildings as well as the way they conduct their practice, their belief in collaboration, their generosity to their colleagues as evidenced in such events as the 2018 Venice Biennale, their unceasing commitment to excellence in architecture, their responsible attitude to the environment, their ability to be cosmopolitan while embracing the uniqueness of each place in which they work. For all these reasons and more, Yvonne Farrell and Shelley McNamara are awarded the 2020 Pritzker Architecture Prize."
Welcome and good morning. Each year, the Pritzker Architecture Prize ceremony is presented in a special venue, in a building and in a city that helps us celebrate the achievements of architecture and the ideals of the prize. This is the first time in our 42-year history in which the site for the prize is not the built work of a building, but rather the built work of modern technology. Some may feel that's appropriate. Personally, I wish it was otherwise. While the pandemic has kept us from celebrating architecture in a great building, it has affirmed the enduring principles and ideas of architecture. In a way, the pandemic has affirmed the importance of the human as a social being. The prize is based on the notion that architecture should serve the people for whom the work is built. It should meet their needs for firmness, commodity, and delight. While so many of our buildings throughout the world are now empty of the people and the diversity of humanity that animate them. I have no doubt that this will come to an end, and that we will look back and see that the epidemic has underlined the importance of architecture and heightened our appreciation of our built work. What have we learned? While many of our buildings stand mute, we now understand and look forward to the cacophony of human voices and activity. We've had to think about many topics that we passed over in our everyday lives. Only in recent times have we thought about the sustainability or affordability of buildings. Now, the health of our built environment has taken on an immediacy that we may have missed. It's fitting, therefore, that this year's laureates, Yvonne, Farrell, and Shelley McNamara, have first and foremost demonstrated that friendship, socialization, and partnership are the wellspring for the humane ideals to which their built work is dedicated. The collaboration between Yvonne and Shelley represents a veritable interconnectedness between equal co-partners. Their art and the principles it expresses are keenly valued these days. Our two laureates are equal to the task and provide inspiration in these difficult hours. It's their relationship going back to their student days at the School of Architecture at the University College in Dublin, which has birthed their architecture in enduring warmth of their relationship. Their native Ireland, an island replete with mountains and cliffs, informs the acute sensitivities to geography, changing climates, and nature in each of their sites. Their buildings consistently remain purposefully rich, yet modest, enhancing cities and lending to sustainability while responding to local needs. They seem to be imbued with the spirit of the great Irish poet, Pádraic Colum, who wrote, "Ach, but I'm weary of mist and dark, and roads where there's never a house nor bush, and tired I am of bog and road, and the crying wind and lonesome hush. And I'm praying to God on high, and I'm praying to Him night and day, for a little house, a house of my own, out of winds and rain's way." One of their most challenging commissions was the university campus in Lima, Peru, to which they responded with a vertical, cascading building that accommodated both the site and the climate needs. At home in Dublin, their offices for the Department of Finance was designed for exposure on all sides, something not typical of buildings in their city. They've set an example for the communities of people who inhabit their buildings in Ireland, France, Peru, Italy, and elsewhere. Their artistry is the gift of a long-time friendship and unleashes both their creativity and their commitment to humanity. That friendship and commitment to humanity has created great buildings and great architecture. In this very strange world, it reinforces the importance of what otherwise might be seen as the most simple of human dynamics. In this year in particular, we're blessed that our jury recognized these two great women as role models for what humanity can achieve through work, perseverance, and yes, through friendship. Yvonne and Shelley, I wish I could be with you now, in some great building, handing you your two medals. But in fact, the world's plight emphasizes the importance of the two of you as role models in friendship, professionalism, and thought. With this recognition, you join a group of colleagues, and we want to wish you our deepest congratulations on becoming our 2020 Pritzker laureates. Thank you.
May I send my warmest congratulations to Yvonne Farrell and Shelley McNamara of Grafton Architects on their wonderful achievement in winning the prestigious Pritzker Architecture Prize. As laureates of the Pritzker Prize, you have been accorded the highest accolade within your profession, having joined an illustrious list of practitioners of your craft, fellow Pritzker laureates, who with you, now among them, have made such significant architectural contributions. I congratulate you both. Tris Liam Liv Bert. Architecture at its best, and particularly when it takes upon itself the social responsibility of the inclusion and flourishing of our citizens, draws on both art and science. To achieve its best as a multifaceted discipline, drawing on so many fields of human endeavour, it seeks to attain a balanced integration of both art and science. Architecture is a reflection of how we imagine ourselves, how we present ourselves across the Earth's landscape. And like other expressive mediums, it changes with styles, technologies, and cultural expressions. We have examples of wonderful architecture around us, but we also must admit to examples where developments have seemed to jar with wider societal, imaginative, and inclusive objectives that might have enabled us all to flourish. Architects thus carry with them a responsibility, but also the joy of contributing to how we conduct ourselves on this fragile planet. I do know and appreciate that a body of skilled and thoughtful women and men, and Yvonne, Farrell and Shelley McNamara are the joint 4th and 5th women to receive this prize. Pritzker laureates have demonstrated the skills and knowledge of how to be instruments of positive change towards a sustainable future through recognizing and embracing the challenges we are all confronted with by climate change, biodiversity loss, and the increasingly acute scourge of urban homelessness, exclusion, and social isolation, the deepening of inequality and loss of social cohesion. As practitioners and teachers, you have much to impart to emerging women and men aspiring to excel in a profession that can have such a profound impact on the well-being of our societies. While we all would have preferred for this award ceremony to proceed in the usual manner, COVID-19 made that impossible. However, not defeated but with resilience, let it not dampen our spirits or our joy in sharing together this wonderful event that has been arranged by the Pritzker Foundation. The virtual ceremony, after all, provides an opportunity for us all to celebrate with you and to share in your great achievement and the deserved recognition that you've been given. Shelley and Yvonne, Jenim Kogort Gasliv, Maruk Droneren as President of Ireland, I congratulate you both and I wish you both continued success. Berbanacht.
Now, this is the first time we've awarded the Pritzker Prize by means of a celebratory film, a film that will be shown worldwide. So we might remind that audience and ourselves as well just why we have this special prize for architecture and how we award it. Now, what are the special qualities of the architect that might warrant a special prize? Scholars and the dictionary help here. Ruskin says, architecture is the art which so disposes or adorns the edifices raised by man that the sight of them contributes to his mental health, something we need right now, to his power and to his pleasure. As is well known, the architect shapes our environment and thereby shapes our lives for the better. The Oxford English Dictionary adds that an architect is a designer or a builder. Indeed, he or she is a master builder. The architect must be an artist, a designer, and in today's world, to obtain the necessary approvals, the architect must often be a skilled politician as well. The Pritzker Prize provides recognition to those who shape the built environment, thus our lives, for the better. And it also calls attention throughout the world to the architectural discipline itself. Its presence explains to those millions who are not architects why they should pay attention to architecture and help to see that it thrives. We might ask those millions, well, which do you prefer to hear or to look at, the rattling sound of garbage trucks or Louis Armstrong? The glare of an airport light or the Mona Lisa? Would you rather spend half your time inside a badly designed box or inside a Mies van der Rohe office building? If you think good architecture is not for you, you will soon miss it once it's gone, just as you would miss the atmosphere or the sky were they to disappear. Suddenly, the way you feel about yourself, indeed the way you live, would change, and not for the better. In many different ways, but primarily by showing others the work of good architects, the prize helps to make others conscious of the need for good architecture. How do we select architects to receive the Pritzker Prize? The questions a juror will ask himself or herself and others depend on the juror. They vary. But still, there are basic criteria that at least some of which most great buildings will satisfy. Some or all of us will ask, for example, does the building look like what it is? Will it satisfy the client's needs? Does it reflect what Oliver Wendell Holmes called jobsmanship? From handrails to cafeteria chairs, there is nothing but good design. There are no shoddy spaces. Are the spaces, whether filled or empty, beautiful? Does the building work well for those who use it? After decades, are they still happy to be there? Does it fit well within the neighborhood? Does it add something positive to the space around it? Those are a few basic questions. There are others. And there are criteria that relate to broader themes. Might the architect's work address more basic architect-related problems? Does that work, for example, help to connect local style, history, environment with a more universal international style? Does it contribute to the improved development of an entire area, of a city? How does it contribute to such universal problems as conserving energy or maintaining a healthy environment? Does it point the way towards solutions of such contemporary problems as those growing out of the fact that 5 billion people will move to cities in the next 30 years and 2/3 of them will be able to afford next to nothing for decent shelter? Does the work help to show how to create livable space, both domestic space and workspace, in buildings that grow ever higher? I might add that coronavirus, if it lasts, will make this last mentioned problem more complex and more pressing. For indoor space cannot be simply open and beautiful. It will have to accommodate isolation or smaller spaces suited for work and daily living among members of families who will sometimes want visitors. And city spaces, too, from museums to sports stadiums, from parks to beaches, may all need design that accommodate social distancing. And if so, how can this be done without losing traditional architectural values? Now, you will hear in this video how those whom we honor today, Yvonne Farrell and Shelley McNamara, have tried to answer these questions, and they have done so with success. And they will continue to try to do so. They have experience in designing buildings that create communities. They often, for example, bring outside light into inside rooms, and by doing so, they have enabled those who work there to have both their own separate space, say their classroom or study space, and that is yet part of a larger library, a specialized area of academic study, or an entire school or university. Their buildings are not flashy, but they work in ways that fit the nature of the building's tasks, and they bring beauty into the lives of those who live or who work there. In this film, you will see some of the work of these two great architects, Yvonne Farrell and Shelley McNamara. You will hear their words. They well deserve the Pritzker Prize. They have had a remarkable, productive career, which, luckily for us, will continue. The best way to understand an architect's work, however, is simply to open your eyes and look. And that is what we now shall do. Congratulations, Yvonne Farrell, on your receipt of the Pritzker Prize. Congratulations, Shelley McNamara, on your receipt of the Pritzker Prize. Congratulations to you both from all of us.
I would like to formally thank Tom and Margot Pritzker for this wonderful moment in our lives. I would like to sincerely thank each member of the jury for their expression of belief in us, awarding us this wonderful honor. Architecture is an ancient art which needs each of us to continue and transform it. Being an architect means that we add to the crust of this fragile planet. We need to add beauty and be efficient with the resources we specify. Materials enclose spaces, shelter our physical and psychological selves. Materials from the earth form our palette, from which we need to choose carefully. Chosen for this medal, the Pritzker Prize, this highly charged object, full of meaning, is bronze, held on a red cotton ribbon. Inscribed on it are three words: firmness, commodity, and delight. These words come from Marcus Vitruvius Bollio, formatis utilitatis venustatis, said over 2,000 years ago in his time in his book De Architectura. Firmness, which withstands time, commodity that does a job, delight that has an element of beauty. We are standing in the historic long room of the old library in Trinity College in the heart of Dublin. It is 65 metres long, over 200 feet long, with 200,000 books, including one of our national treasures, the 9th century Book of Kells. This building began in the early 1700s, added to and modified over the years, with the barrel-vaulted ceiling and gallery constructed in the mid-1800s. Standing in this impressive space, I'm reminded of Peter Zumthor, steeped in Heidegger, knowing that our thinking is fundamentally connected to our experience of place. I quote from his book, Peter Zumthor Works. The thought process is not abstract, but works with spatial images. It has sensual components. It uses the images of places and spaces to which we have access, which we remember. In other words, thought travels through a specific space which contains traces of place and architecture. When Shelley and I were invited to be the curators of the 2018 Venice Biennale, we deeply researched the work of architects around the world. From an incredible variety of examples, we had the very hard task of choosing 100 as sample representatives. What we came to know for certain is that there is a generosity within the profession, hardworking and skilled colleagues in every corner of the globe making good and meaningful work. These architects are what we call architectural warriors, whose achievements we want to celebrate with us. All around the world, architects are sharing their capabilities with their communities. I mention this in my acceptance speech because we are the product of many things. The love of our family and friends, the education system here in Ireland where we were trained, this country which we love, our colleagues in Grafton Architects, trusting clients, and the community of architects to which we belong. As well as the practice of building, Shelley and I have always been involved in teaching. The Lebanese poet Khalil Gibran has a beautiful way of describing the force that current generation have on future ones. If we think of our position now in relation to future architectural generations, in the same way as Gibran describes our generation, he says, and I quote, "You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth." End of quote. Recently, I was asked to write a letter to a young architect. And as we stand here in the long room in Trinity, I send this Gibran arrow as a letter to the future. There are many different types of architects. Become the best that you yourself might be. The world is a beautiful and amazing place. Look around you and see how wonderful the ordinary is. You are privileged by being trained as an architect. Share it. Give of your talent and time. Enrich society by being you. People rely on you to transform their needs and dreams into actual space. Do your best. People move through space. Help them move easily and with pleasure. Look on and see society lovingly. Have colleagues, friends whom you value. Architecture is an ancient art. It needs you to contribute and transform it. Love nature. We are an essential part of it, her, him. Each place on earth is unique. Celebrate that fact. Being an architect means that you add to the crust of this fragile planet. Try to add a bit of beauty and be efficient with the resources you specify. Materials enclose spaces, shelter our physical and psychological selves. See material as our palette from the earth and choose them carefully. Light is free. It is delightful and cheerful, orchestrated. Your life will have many chapters. Keep a notebook close to hand. Record your thoughts and observations. They are of great value. Through thick and thin, take care of architecture. It is the expression of human existence. Thank you.
Standing here almost alone in this room, celebrating this wonderful honor of the Pritzker Prize with no audience, brings to mind the empty stage of a Samuel Beckett play. But of course we are not alone. We are in a space which holds time and knowledge and treasures of the mind. We can feel the presences of all the great people who passed through this great space. We chose this room so that we could celebrate the power of architecture here in our own city, so that we would feel part of a bigger order, which of course is one of the functions of architecture. Standing in this space also celebrates the wonderful institution of the library. Designing the Bibliothèque Geneviève in Paris in the 1850s led Henri Labrouste to consider the library as a room of universal ties, where new alliances can freely form through different ages and cultures. He described the library as the space of perfect social harmony, a place of refuge and comfort for the citizen, where the architecture has a healing power through the suggestive force of atmosphere. As in the library, time flows freely in architecture. It is not linear. This is the case also with memory, which is a cacophony of sensations, of fragments of experience. Carl Jung, writing about the collective memory, the collective unconscious, says, "The unconscious psyche is not only immensely old, it is also capable of growing into an equally remote future." When Luigi Canina, Italian archaeologist and architect, excavated the Appian Way in 1848, he built a beautiful brick and stone wall of fragments to represent the atmosphere of this wonderful Roman road of heavy stone, which is so powerful in its presence to this day. Canina's wall of fragments reflects the process of making architecture, where the architect tries to make a construct, a space, a framework, which pieces the jigsaw of past, present, and future together. When we start to make new work, we realize that imagining a future is coexistent with remembering the past. And there is enormous tension in this process. The wonderful pianist Glenn Gould talks about this tension in Beethoven's music, about the struggle between what he calls the inventor and the curator of tradition. Gould describes in Beethoven's music the fluency and mastery
of the precise grammar of the past, combined with fantastical wrong-headed gestures with a devil-may-care attitude, which in his view is what makes this music extraordinary, because this tension is present on the very surface of the music. In the book Gulliver's Travels, the prose satire written by Dean Jonathan Swift in 1726, whose bust stands here with us in this room, he invented the flying island of Laputa. Swift imagined this island where the inhabitants travelled through magnetic levitation. The island had a cave which collected rainfall. The inhabitants spent their time listening to the music of the spheres, believed in astrology, and worried constantly about the sun going out. We are going forward, not backwards, to a time of Alberti, the great 15th century humanist, who saw architecture as the infrastructure of civilized life. The first principles of architecture are becoming once again the first principles of architecture. This crisis of climate change and pandemic makes us think about the free gifts of nature, of light, of air, water, sun, wind, shade, earth, and plants. These are our resources, our materials as architect, and they demand respect, care, and love. This wonderful phenomenon called architecture is by its nature optimistic. We imagine new worlds. Architecture is as old as time and as young as what Carl Jung calls the equally remote future. If Jonathan Swift could imagine the extraordinary floating island of Laputa in the 18th century, what can we as architects imagine now in the 21st century? On our first meeting with the 2018 president of the Venice Biennale, he said, "We all know that architecture is the lost goddess who needs to be rescued." We were shocked by this diagnosis, by this presentation as a fact of life that our beloved Mother of the Arts was lost, because we knew it to be so often true. Being in Venice, one cannot but discuss beauty. Everyone deserves beauty in their lives. The power of patronage is in bringing the competing worlds of business and beauty together. Business is about value for money. Beauty has no quantitative value and is of immeasurable value. The patron, by placing the highest value on beauty, on architecture, is a powerful force in releasing this lost goddess from oblivion. The ongoing patronage and gesture of faith in the power of architecture, as practiced by the PRITZKER family, is something we would like to celebrate and acknowledge, and for which we would like to express our deepest appreciation and thanks.
Congratulations, Shelley and Yvonne. Welcome to our very special family.
Congratulations, Shelley and Yvonne.
My heartiest congratulations, Yvonne and Shelley.
シェリーさん、イボンさん、どうもおめでとうございます。
Mi más sincera felicitación a Yvonne y Shelley.
再次祝贺你们，雪莉和伊冯娜，纯粹的、有激情的建筑思考，终于获得了它的收获。
Parabéns, Shelley e Yvonne.
Félicitations, Shelley et Yvonne.
Congratulazioni, Yvonne e Shelley. Bravissimi.
Queridas Yvonne y Shelley, felicitaciones. Congratulations.
Shelley さん、イボンヌさん、この度はおめでとうございます。心よりお祝いを申し上げます。伊藤豊です。
Congratulations, Shelley and Yvonne. A great acknowledgement of your fine work.
Parabéns pelo Prémio PRITZKER, Shelley e Yvonne. Parabéns.
Congratulations, Shelley and Yvonne.
Bravo, bravo, dear Yvonne and dear Shelley. And bravo to Grafton as a team for winning this year's prestigious Pritzker Architecture Prize.
Congratulations to Shelley and Yvonne.
Shelley and Yvonne, congratulations, hearty congratulations.
Shelley さん、イボンヌさん、おめでとうございます。
Félicitations Shelley et Yvonne.
Congratulations, Yvonne and Shelley. Welcome to the Pritzker Prize family.
Shelley さん、イボンヌさん、おめでとうございます。
Shelley e Yvonne, parabéns pelo merecidíssimo Prêmio Pritzker 2020.
Shelley and Yvonne, congratulations.
Congratulations, Shelley and Yvonne. Well deserved.
Congratulations, Shelley and Yvonne. A real accomplishment.
Congratulations, Shelley and Yvonne.
Shelley, Yvonne, congratulazioni, complimenti, bravi, bravissimi.
Congratulations, Shelley, Yvonne.
Felicitats, Shelley.
Felicitats, Yvonne. Felicitats a totes dues.